Right, after that rapid fire opening, on to some of the more mundane news bits. And Facebook on Wednesday announced that it will not allow any ads on its services that seeks to delegitimize the outcome of an election. Liars. Including the up-and-coming US election on November the 3rd. And it said this policy will prohibit any ads that call specific methods of voting, such as voting by mail, as being inherently fraudulent or corrupt, according to them anyway. And the new policy will apply to ads on Facebook and Instagram effective immediately. So now they are election specialists as well, and they want to dictate the outcome of an election. All very APAC, that to me. So the next two pieces are also about Facebook, and it also concerns our group. And it's a heads up because we haven't got long left. So this week our Facebook page was flagged with this particular caption. These are violations that were posted or approved by an admin or moderator. If more admins' violations occur, we may disable your group. Your post goes against our community standards on dangerous individuals and organisations. We are unable to show content that goes against our community standards on dangerous individuals and organisations. This will be a common theme tonight. Common sense question. How are we supposed to know? If you don't know the community standards, how is anyone supposed to run their fascist-owned social media page? And which jackass comes up with these policies? Welcome to the beginning of Continuum. We did warn about it. So Facebook has now ramped up attacks against our group, and apart from slowing down the page to dial-up levels, have now gone on an offensive against all posts and are flagging every single one. Now, in the group settings, and one of them is to allow all members to post freely, like a freedom of choice this country is known for. But that is an illusion now, clearly. So now all posts have to be approved on the Facebook page by the admins, which has just sent our work levels up enormously. So why have they done that? Because if admins approve them, that makes the admin responsible for the posts, and as the admins approved them, the group is then held to account. And then they can shut down the group based on the admins approving the posts. All mentions of COVID-19, it seems, in posts are now being flagged. One member posted an alternative social media platform that is not censoring or fascist to Facebook, and that got flagged as well. Some of our members have been suspended by Facebook in other groups, and because they are in our group, that gives Facebook the right to flag our group because 2 members were suspended in other groups. Now this has the potential to be misused, and trolls and shills could get suspended by Facebook or their agency payers, and then join THI to get our group shut down. That's the way they've set it up. Now that is not stating the 2, 3 or 4 members who have been banned by Facebook are doing that to THI. But I need to raise the concern of is that Is that what is actually taking place here? So to comment, post or use Messenger now on Facebook, there is a 5 to 10 second delay for typing. And this is what Facebook warned if they flagged a group. They would slow down your page and divert traffic away. Now, we set up MeWe 2 years back for this very reason. And it seems THI is yet again over the target and why they wish to play fascist yet childish games with our group. It's only a matter of time now before we get removed. The current ban of admins approving all posts ends December the 5th. I don't think we're going to last that long. And so you can move over to MeWe with your proper name, please, as it makes it easier to allow you in. Fake or pet names will be discarded. There is no reason at this point now for anonymity anymore. If Facebook continues this program, people will leave. Hopefully in droves. And then there's the small matter of advertising revenue, which they rely on, will end. And so will the fascist Hebrew Anunnaki social media. You watch, there'll be an advert sometime next year if this continues from Facebook asking people to come back, a bit like the Catholic Church did in the UK. People have had enough of being pissed upon. But it's not just THI that's suffering. Even the President of America had his account locked this past week. Next common sense question. I thought the President of USA was the most powerful man on the planet, and yet he can be blocked from a social media site. Twitter said that it locked President Trump's account on Monday after the Commander-in-Chief violated company policies by sharing the email address of a New York Post columnist in one of his tweets. And the social media giant confirmed to the Daily News on Tuesday that the coronavirus-stricken president, had his account locked until the post was removed. These are dangerous times for freedom of speech, which America is renowned for, allegedly, and yet I see little evidence to support it. And this is direct fascism, and Trump needs to act and remove Twitter's license, and Facebook for that matter, to operate in America until they reverse their fascist policies. So you have been warned. Don't be surprised one day you get up and the Facebook page is not there. Extreme poverty is set to rise again this year for the first time in more than 2 decades, with the coronavirus expected to push up to 115 million people into that category, according to the World Bank. But it was not the coronavirus. Forget that. We warned of this in June last year, remember, with the Clowns in Panic show. Before the virus was magically produced. Now, the pandemic, it says, is compounding the forces of conflict and climate change. 2 birds, 1 stone. Which were already slowing poverty reduction, the bank said. By 2021, this could rise to as many as 150 million, it added. And extreme poverty is defined as living on less than $1.90 a day. Not an hour, a day. And the projected increase would be the first since 1998, which is a lie, when the Asian financial crisis shook the global economy, which is also a lie. Now, before the pandemic struck, the extreme poverty rate was expected to drop to 7.9% in 2020. 7.9% of people on less than $1.90 a day. You know, 8% practically of the planet living on less than $2 a day. And this is why the TPC has the mandate of need, not greed. 8% living on less than $2 a day. And then, as a recent example, We Are the humanitarian crew at UNC woman stating that she will do the biomachine tests for $150 an hour. Where is the perspective and rational thinking behind that? And I'm not just singling her out either, as she's far from alone in that greed-based thinking, and it has to change. And the first trust funds should go to all the people without the 5 basics, as they have no money flow. We in the Western world do have money flow, but our issue is it's just not shared out fairly. But now, according to the report, they say it's likely to affect between 9.1 and 9.4 of the world's population this year, according to the bank's biennial Poverty and Shared Prosperity report. Now, at the other end of the scale, billionaires have seen their fortunes hit record highs during the pandemic, with top executives from technology and industry earning the most. The world's richest saw their wealth climb 27.5% to $10.2 trillion from just April to July this year. That's all, that's almost, $3 trillion. And that's according to a report from the Rothschilds-based Swiss bank UBS. You bullshit is correct. And now, since 2013, the World Bank has been working towards the target of having no more than 3% of the world's population living on just $1.90 a day by 2030. However, now it says that goal will be beyond reach without swift, significant and substantial policy action. Well, don't ask politicians, they wouldn't know what a policy is if they tripped over it. And the World Bank report found that many of the new poor would be in countries that already have high poverty rates, with 82% of the total expected in what are classed as middle income countries, not third world. And the bank said progress in reducing global poverty was already slowing even before the COVID-19 crisis. No shit, Sherlock. How clever they are. Between 2015 and 17, 52 million rose out of poverty, but the rate of reduction over that period was less than half a percentage point a year. Now, I suspect the bulk of that was in China. They did an aggressive policy of reducing poverty within their country a few years back, and that was reported on our show. Now, what it says was this was less rapid than in the years between 1990 and 2015, when global poverty had dropped at the rate of about 1 percentage point per year. And the pandemic and global recession may cause over 1.4% of the world's population to fall into extreme poverty, said the World Bank Group President David Malpass, 1.4%. I guess Mr. Malpass is from the Johns Hopkins Centre for Calculations, because earlier the report said 9.1 to 9.4%. Unless he meant an extra 1.4. Do people actually think before they speak these days? It beggars belief, and a clear example of non-thinking was in our Tuesday show. And perhaps that's the real epidemic or pandemic, non-thinking. But this is exactly as we forecasted in June last year. The harvesting continues, and the harvesting is now done by and with the billionaires' game. And it's raping the whole planet. But what gets me is the World Bank, along with the IMF, correct, are the two biggest components of the global imbalance to begin with. Why? Because it's they who create debts for countries and the peoples with their deliberately designed loan programs. And the very fact that they stated they are working towards only 3% having less than $1.95 a day in not 2020 but 2030 is beyond shocking. $1.95 today buys next to nothing. But in 2030? And why are they setting a target of 3% and not 0% earning less than $2 an hour, never mind a day? And all of this can be fixed within a month if the need, not greed culture was promoted and then shared amongst all the peoples. And this is why and what the premise of the TPC is all about. Need, not greed. Caring and sharing. Cooperative and not competitive. Sharing, not sole ownership.